You're listening to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast, where we empower women of faith to identify, acknowledge, and accept their doubts and limits and beliefs in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Welcome back to another episode of the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast. I am here with Ray Nell Jones from the Allignment Chapter. Hello, Ray Nell. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
I am great. I'm great. So first of all, I said offline how, and my listeners know that this year, 3 of my words are obedience, alignment, and community. So as soon as I saw the name of your organization, I was like, okay, Lord, I know why you connected me. It all makes sense. It is all making sense. But before we get into everything about the Alignment Chapter and what you're doing and how you got there, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started?
Well, my name is Ray Nell Jones. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was born and raised in one of the poorest communities in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is Homewood Rushton. And I became a single mom at the age of 19. And I was a freshman in college because, like born into poverty, we was always taught like, hey, go to college and you'll make it. Like, make sure you get to college and you'll make it. They didn't tell us about the debt. They didn't tell us about how to manage our finances, tell us about the things we have to know in life as being young African American women growing up in poverty. It's like a generation after generational thing. So, my main goal was to get to college so I can make it to do the things that I desired to do in life. Not knowing that I wasn't fulfilling my purpose, at that moment. I just knew that the golden rule was to make it to college. You know what I mean?
Yes, that is the thing.
And
You gonna walk across that stage.
Gonna walk across that stage. And being in college, was a very hard struggle for me as a freshman because, I remember not even being able to spend time with my baby. I was working as a housekeeper
Oh,
during the duration that I was pregnant and I was going to school. So that still continued even after I had my baby.
mm,
And it wasn't that I didn't have a support system. It was that they were still doing their own struggle and they just didn't have the means to help me, like care for the baby, do this and do that. Because again, I was born in a lot of moms, like my mom was a single mom, working jobs and trying to make I figured things out on myself. I would get up every day at 5 a.m. and stop at drop my daughter off to her sitter by 7, make it to class by 8 because I was a student. And then I will go to work from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. at night. And I will pick my daughter up after I caught the bus at midnight, make it to the 12:15. I'm sorry, it was a 12:45 bus because I remember I would have to literally run to the bus stop while I had her in her sling. I remember almost slipping on ice that one night. I remember I would have to make it to the
wow.
bus stop in order to, get on my bus and then get home by 1 a.m., study a little bit, get to sleep, do it all over again. And that was 4 days out of the week, 5 days out of the week, actually. And on the weekends was
Wow.
time that I had time with my child, not knowing that anything about finances. Like I had bills coming in, I had rent due, I was
Mm,
living alone, I was a single mom, and I got overwhelmed and I couldn't afford all of those things because, back then, minimum wage wasn't what it is now.
right. And
And
it still ain't really nothing.
it still isn't anything.
Yeah.
And mopping floors, scrubbing hospitals, and then coming home with my baby, trying to study at night. I remember feeling so overwhelmed and feeling like I wasn't there presently as a mom.
Mm,
I also remember feeling like I couldn't make ends meet. I was living paycheck to paycheck, trying to pay the light bill, trying to pay the gas bill, trying to pay the water bill, trying to pay the rent. And I remember the one time where I was late on my light bill, but I knew I was getting paid that Friday. My shut off was for that Wednesday. And I was like, please let them give me like 2 days. So I remember leaving the light on. So when I got off the bus, I could see if they shut my
If they
lights off,
shut the
if
light,
that
yeah,
light was off.
yeah.
So I remember that Thursday, I'm sorry, that Thursday getting off the bus and seeing that my lights was definitely off.
Mm,
I had no idea about other programs out here because I just didn't know. I wasn't educated on,
yeah.
that. So I remember I had a test that Monday. And so, I had to go all weekend with no lights because they don't do same day
Right.
shut ons. And I remember paying it that Friday and holding my baby and studying in the dark. And that triggered something in me right there. Like, I got to
Mm,
figure something out. Like, because this ain't working.
yeah.
Like, I was budgeting my money, trying to figure out where am I spending all my money at. I was on WIC, but WIC wasn't giving me enough baby formula to feed her for a whole month. So I would be
Yeah.
paying cash for baby formula. So that's where I just start using my little phone, trying to figure out different ways. And then I start looking in the couponing. So when I found out,
I saw your
girl,
face as soon as you said that.
couponing saved my life. And I'm gonna be honest, I started couponing and I would like stockpile items. And from my stockpile, I remember like it's just me and my daughter, like, and I saved a ton of money doing that.
Yeah.
And I said, kept me aligned with my finances each month because I cut out that extra $250 or $300 that I was spending on pads full of baby wipes. I start stockpiling. I said, there's other moms who probably are going through the same thing. So I remember like putting some stuff in a bag and taking it with me to the bus stop and just handed it out like, hey, I know some of y'all probably could use this. And I remember this one mom was like, girl, thank you so much. Cause I remember not being fit trying to figure out if I was gonna buy diapers or pads.
Mm,
And this means a lot to me. So I always was like a big giver like that.
yeah.
And I wanted to start the alignment chapter because I wanted to become the hero that I didn't have when I was going through my silent struggle, because it's a silent struggle because
Yes.
you don't talk about it. Like you just being told to be strong and you'll make it through. A lot
Yeah.
of single moms are out here suffering in silence, and I wasn't living into my purpose. I was just working to get.
Surviving. You were surviving. What the things that came up for me was you were operating in survival mode, like for such a long time. And one of the things that you hit on that you said is like it's generational, right? And so at
Mhm.
some point in time, somebody has to be the disruptor and the curse breaker or the choice breaker, right? And be
Right,
able to say, like, enough is enough. Like, we can't keep doing this. The fact that you said it wasn't that I didn't have the support system, they didn't know what to do. And so
right,
many times it's not that we don't have the people, it's literally they do not have the information to be able to help us get out of our situation because they're actually in it. And so
right.
because they're in this, we're not even going to get into the fact that it's a systematic cycle, but
Yes,
because they're in this cycle of needing something and not having the resources to be able to pull themselves out or the support to pull themselves out, we just continue it. So first of all, thank you for sharing your story and just being able to, and then in the midst of that, like you still, that just, like, I got goosebumps when you said it, but like just in the midst of your struggle, you still thought to bless other people. You still thought to give. And even though you weren't exactly where you wanted to be or where you knew God was going to take you, you was like, I have more than enough. Right. And so many times when we get into those situations, I don't care if it's things, possessions, you feel like I got to hold on to it because I don't know if it's going to leave me again. Right. And even in that situation, you could have thought that, right? Because it ain't like it wasn't just that didn't just happen, right? But now you're like, no, somebody else is going through the same thing that I've gone through. How can I help? Like that speaks to your heart and your mindset starting out. That is, man, that's amazing. So how did self-doubt show up in your journey? I told y'all, imposter syndrome is real. When I'm in those moments of doubt and anxiety, I ask myself, who's going to listen to you? Did God really call you to do this? Or, girl, ain't nobody trying to pay you to talk to them? These thoughts lead me to procrastination and being paralyzed by my fears and doubts. Throughout this journey of slaying my own self doubt, I have some tried and true practical steps that have helped me, and I would love to share them with you. Head on over to my website at www.feliciawallace.com and download the 5 ways to slay your self doubt. Now back to the show.
Self doubt showed up in my journey from multiple of things. Being a Black woman, being raised in one of the cities where, we already had a survey come out ranking Pittsburgh the worst city for African American women to thrive in.
Wow.
Being yeah, being a Black woman, as itself, you come out fighting for your life. You come out fighting for, to change, the success, the difference. Even when you do go to college, even when you do make it to those big corporate jobs, you're still
Yeah.
fighting for a
Mm.
spot. So self-doubt always kicked in with me where I felt like I failed,
Mm.
where you felt like you failed as a mother and you felt like you failed as an individual, not fulfilling your purpose, or you get fired from a job. Because, girl, I've been fired from plenty, but I got blessed with better.
I know that's
That
right.
is the one thing a lot of women, if you are listening, that self-doubt kicks in when you have your personal emotional struggles of being a parent, of losing a job, of not being at where you want to be at in life. And that self-doubt helps you realize, am I living in my purpose? Am I doing what's purposeful for me? And
Yeah.
self-doubt came in with just by being a single mom, just by going through the things that I went through and parenting with my daughter, just by going through the things I went through by living on my own and making stupid mistakes that I know were mistakes, that I learned how not to duplicate that and I can fix it again. So self doubt came in for me that day my lights got shut off. And I vowed that day I would never get another utility shut off again in my life.
Mm.
And it never happened again.
Yes.
So that self-doubt, when self-doubt for me multiple times in life, you got to know how to train your brain to be stronger than what you are feeling and your emotions, and figure out what makes you happy and get into a comfortable zone.
Yeah, no, that is when you say that it's an emotion, right? It is based on a lot of our self doubt is based on feelings. It's how we feel at that time. It's how we feel during those moments. And what my this journey has been about lately is finding ways or helping my listeners find ways to identify it, like identify where it shows up, how it shows up. How do you feel when it's happening? What does it look like in your relationships? What does it look like in your parenting? What does it look like in your friend circle? What does it look like at work? And how is that holding you back from walking into your purpose? Because for me, it was procrastination, right? It wasn't that some of it wasn't that I didn't know that God was destining me for more. It was like, do I deserve that? Am I worthy enough for it? Um, can I do it? Is it going to actually work out in my favor?
Right.
And so it's one of those things where it's just kind of like once you recognize it. So once you recognize that, what did you do when it came up? Because I would assume that throughout this time, self doubt has come up multiple times as you kind of created the business, as you
Right.
tried to go in, even in helping people and trying to do different things. How did you combat it when it did, like, was like, okay, hey Renell, I'm here telling you can't do this, telling you you're gonna end up the way you thought you wasn't going to, telling you're gonna go back to that way. What did you do to like say, no, not today, sis, not today?
That's what I did. I said, not today. Like, it's okay to cry. Like, I will have a breakdown moment, but at the same time, my main thing is when there's a problem, there's always a solution. I got to
Mm,
figure out the solution to my problem, because nobody is going to figure out that a solution but me. So when that self doubt hit, I remember before when I was speaking, saying I had to figure out how to budget my own money. Nobody was there to teach me that.
yeah.
I ain't want to tell nobody my business, because telling people your business opens Pandora's box to bashing. That leads to more self-doubt, to social media now. A lot of people use social media to bring people down. And what you have to do is realize, okay, I had this one hiccup. So let me figure out the solution to my own problem and
Yeah.
control my own destiny, and put my 2 feet down and control my because can't nobody walk me. I gotta walk myself. So
Yeah.
when I figured out how to walk myself and how to, Google and God, that helped me out a lot in my self-doubt journey.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that that you said is about like not some of the reason behind this journey of slaying self doubt is that you said it even in your own journey of like suffering in silence, right? We don't want to tell people that we're doubtful or like imposter syndrome is showing up or that we're afraid of failing because one, we don't want to be vulnerable, and then two, you don't want people to use it against you, right? And be
Right,
able to be like, oh well, you know, and people, some people do it intentionally to try to keep you where they at. Let's just say
right,
that some of it is to keep you where they at, and some people just don't even have the tools to encourage you to be able
right.
to say no, you can do better. And so that's the reason why I feel like these are important conversations to have, because we're proof, right, that you can have self doubt and still, right, and still do, and still walk in your purpose, and still make an impact. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel like a lot of people, when you do, like you said, when you reach those, when you tell people, with I experienced that a lot with my moms. People have the tendency down their own misery because you have no idea what somebody else is going through in their life. You
Absolutely.
could feel like they have the picture perfect thing all together, but deep down inside, the silent struggle is real. So whenever you do choose to open up to people, you got to make sure to somebody who has a genuine love and care for you, because when you open up to people who don't genuinely care about you, they make it about them.
Hmm.
And then when they make it about them, they choose to hold that over your head and bring you and remind you of when you were at your lowest point by
Yeah.
verbally reminding you when you pissed them off, or social you over social media when you do something to agitate them. Because what I realize is people aren't good at expressing and communicating their feelings. They
Yeah.
have to find another way to dig at you. So those things right there are a lot of things that can bring self-doubt in a one's life. But you got to learn how to be the master of navigating your own path. Period.
Yeah.
You don't need GPS for that. You know how to wake up every day. You know how to go brush your teeth. You know how to dry them tears. You know how to go out here and get it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. No, yeah, that is so so true. So what have you learned about yourself during this journey that you didn't know before? When I first started posting on social media for the podcast, oh my goodness, it was a disaster. I did not know what I was doing. I was guessing at everything. Then things shifted for me when I got introduced to three platforms that changed the game for me. I started using Canva for my graphics, Caption Writer for my captions, and Wave for the audiograms. Seriously, if you go back to the beginning of the Slaying Self Doubt Instagram page, you will see the transformation. If you are in the process of branding or rebranding yourself, I recommend you try out these platforms. Canva has hundreds of templates that you can choose from to design any type of post you desire. Caption Writer allows you to create and save your captions with the perfect line breaks and even lets you add different fonts. Wave helps you create snippets of your content to share with your followers. They have closed captions and those cool little wavy lines. If you're interested in trying them out, click the links in the show notes to start using them today. Now, back to the show.
I learned that I can do multiple things in 24 hours. I did not realize I had the power to pack a ton of boxes. I did not to pack a ton of boxes in one day, to answer hundreds of emails in one day, to talk to 100 women in one day,
Yeah.
to do a podcast in one day. To take my kids grocery shopping in one day and make it back. You
Yeah.
know, clean the house, cook, do all of that in a day. I learned that there is no limit to what you can do. You put a limit on what you can do. You say when
Yeah.
you tired. You
Yeah.
say when you go sit down. I realized that I could do all things if I put my mind to it. Once I changed my mind and was, I can do this.
Yeah.
I got this. Once I did that, I was like, oh, I could do this every day. I could get stuff done every day. I don't need anybody to tell me do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, or I don't need nothing to jump me up. I know what I did before, and if I could
Mm.
do it before, I can do it again.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to when you are walking in purpose, right? And you are doing what you love, you want to keep doing it.
Happy about it.
Yeah, it brings you
Yes, you ever wake
joy.
up and you be like, you be trying, you gotta go to work, you be like, oh my God, I don't like going the day. And you already miserable because you don't feel like going in there looking at them. You don't feel like going in there putting a fake smile on. You don't feel like doing all of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you already start off bad because in your brain, you like, I don't feel like this right now.
Mhm. Yeah, no, you absolutely right. And I think that so when you're doing the thing that brings you joy and makes you happy, you can do that over and over and over and over again. And then what it does is that because it's not work, it gives you, so like when I do these podcasts, is it time consuming? It is, but it brings me joy and it fills me up. So then I have the energy to go do the next thing. So if my kids say, "Hey, mommy, I need lunch," I'll be like, "Okay, let's go ahead," and versus something that is like draining you, right? And when it's draining you, you literally do not have any more to give because it's clearly taking everything out of you, so just to perform. And who like sometimes we have to be in those situations because you got to be able to take care of your family. But once you know and that you have an option and you have a choice to do the thing that brings you joy and not be drained or stay comfortable.
Right? Get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable
Yeah.
because what I realized is this: when I start saying I hate doing this,
Mm.
and when I realized what made me my buzz, when I handed somebody a box, or when I helped a single mom, it gave me an adrenaline rush. Ever
Mm.
ride a roller coaster and be like, I want to do that again and again and
Yeah.
again and again. When you start feeling like that, that's when you know you in your purpose
Yeah.
because you want to keep doing it. You want to get that same feeling like, okay, I did this. It feels really good.
Yeah.
And I said, I can do this for the rest of my life and I can be happy. I might not have $1 billion and I might not be, but I can be happy doing what it is that I love doing every day and not being on somebody else's time or trying to fight to climb my way to the top
Yeah.
somewhere where I'm not happy. Like you said, it's literally comes with what makes you happy and what gives you great joy of waking up every day and doing it over and over again.
Yeah, and also when you're walking in person purpose, for the most part, generally you're serving others, right? And so when you're serving others and you're able to see your impact and you're able to see those women who are receiving something that to somebody else seems minor, right? Like, oh, it's just pads. Like,
Right.
sis, no, it's not. Somebody literally was deciding between pads and diapers, which are both a necessity, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, we're in the fact that we're even in these situations where people have to decide, like women have to decide taking care of themselves or taking care of their children is, again, that's a whole nother separate
A whole nother
conversation.
conversation.
So let us talk about the alignment chapter. Like, so we clearly know that so I'm going to assume that your story started there. That in that moment when you started couponing and you were able to see the overflow and you were able to give that to the women at the bus stop. That is at that moment. That's when it clicked for you to start going in that direction.
Yep, it clicked to me then, but I didn't take it serious. I was still my mindset. I'm gonna go back to my mindset. My mindset was to graduate from college. That was my mindset. So I was going to school for business, and then I went to school for law, and then I went back to school for journalism. And then I'm like, I don't want to do none of this stuff that
Hold
I'm
on, wait,
writing
wait, wait,
that
wait. Business, law, and journalism.
Girl, that's what it's called when you're not living in your purpose. You don't
Mm.
know what you want to do. You
Mm.
just all over the place, racking up college debt. And you know what? I just said last in 2019, it was a young lady. She in the summer, she went to the Homestead Grace Bridge while her four kids was in a car. It was rush hour. And while her kids was in the car, she jumped off the bridge.
Mm.
Didn't jump off the bridge because she was crazy. She had mental issues. She was mentally defeated from being a mother. And when I saw that, I said, this is still going on because I remember having those feelings. I remember feeling like that. And that's when I started the alignment chapter on paper. I got my 501c3.
Mm.
I started couponing like crazy again. I started stockpiling items. I started paying for all my business stuff that needed to be handled out of my pocket. I started the alignment chapter just with my faith in God. And I just put it out on social media. Hey, anybody that needs anything, fill this, application out on the website. We'll send you a box of household essentials that you need to keep you aligned with your financial purposes for the month. For example, baby formula, baby wipers, hand hygiene products, personal hygiene products, and household cleaners. Those are the things that we spend a lot of money on each month. And
Yeah.
people don't realize how much money we put into toilet paper, to paper towels,
That
to
goes in the
soap,
trash.
just to make those trash. And just to see, what we reclaim, and the overflow was just amazing. And that's when I really started the alignment chapter, and I was like, you know what, I love doing this. And I kept doing it. And we don't get any grants. We not from every grant. So the rule really operates off of life-saving donors. Donate button and give what they can.
Wow, that is, y'all know the story. This podcast was an assignment from God that had my self doubt and limiting beliefs telling me that nobody would listen. But you, yes, you, kept showing up every week to listen to this podcast. And because you keep showing up, so do I. If you enjoy this podcast and would love to support me and future episodes, please consider making a donation by simply purchasing me a coffee. If you would like to donate, click the Buy Me a Coffee link. Now, back to the show. You said that you one of the things that I want to hit on is that even though you started this, or you did the couponing, and then my assumption, right, was that that's where it started, but that was when the seed was planted, right? And but because of the generational, kind of like, you got to finish, you got to do that what the people before us think success looks like. It's getting a house, buying,
Yes.
a bigger house, buying a nice car, having the degrees,
Yes.
having a job that has stability, and a pension plan. That is
Yes.
what generations before us, and rightfully so, because of what was happening before them, that trying to do something on your own, and literally funding it yourself, or having other people fund, is crazy to
Right.
people, right? Um,
Crazy.
but God planted that seed in you before, and then when it was time for it to come, like, for you to say that this happened in 2019, and this is the end of 2019, rather, on top of that, and then we are in the beginning of 2021, to see the impact that you had, he had to prepare you to be able to
Mm-hmm.
pour into other people so that they know that it was possible. You had to be in the position of saying, I've gone through this, I've done it, I know what the people need. And so here I am, right? To be a servant to
Right.
him, and a servant to the people. And so, oh man, and then to know that there's like nobody is funding y'all. Like, this is legit. Wow. Wow. And it's so
I'm gonna take you to a nonprofit side. Being an African American woman that runs a nonprofit that really favors single mothers struggling. When you think of single mothers struggling, you think of low income communities. A lot of people that make up low income communities are African American
mm,
women. So when you think of that funding, people like United Way, big corporations get funding before we would ever get funding. I can't afford a grant writer. So I'm these things on my own. These are things that are happening on my own with my own grit, writing nonstop, proposals, LOIs, and things like that get us funding. So when you think of things like that, that's the odds that are already stacked against us as
Yeah.
being a person of color running a nonprofit that profoundly services people of color. So you have to look at it in that aspect too. And then, you have to understand too, sometimes people of color do not support people of color. So it's very hard,
Wow.
for us to navigate through that. So navigating through that every day and keeping our doors open, that takes grit. It is not as easy as it seems.
Wow, that is when so I know of a couple of other people who have nonprofits, and um they both, you're right, they both are and they're black women who are serving communities of color, and they both have said the same thing. It's so hard for people to donate and people to want to give, and again, like I said, it's a whole nother conversation if we're talking about
Yeah.
the systematicness of it, and then how we are programmed, right? Like, why do you feel like it is easier for you to, donate? And not to say that, if wherever people are donating their money, that, that's your business, but you feel more comfortable donating to United Way or NAACP that are majorly funded, right? You have people giving them, but you got somebody like yourself or these other two nonprofits who are literally helping the people who are in need at this present time. And you like, and I already know what people are saying. Now I don't even know if it's legit. How you know that they actually using the money? How you know that they doing X, Y, and Z?
Here's the thing. There's a difference between those nonprofits. We share everything socially on social media. We share everything we do, from boxes we send out to applications that come in, even the amount that it costs, a receipt from USPS. So when people say those things, this is why we created the Alignment Chapter Instagram. So people can follow exactly what it is that we're doing, so they know
Yeah.
exactly where the money's going to. So when people say that, they really can't say that about an organization that's so transparent
Mm-hmm.
and can't even afford to pay ourselves, to even operate. I still work a 9 to 5, but I still make it happen, because it's my passion. This is what I
Yeah.
want to do. This is
Yeah.
what grit, this is what it costs. So those things right there are things that people don't think about, when it comes to running nonprofits.
Yeah, no, and as I was reading your bio, I saw that when the pandemic hit, it seemed like your services and the need increased, right? Like rightfully so. And you were still able to give, which speaks to um it still speaks to the power of God, right? That like where you are needed, he will provide. He will make provision no matter what. And he will put you in the places that you didn't even see fit. You probably started off thinking, I'm just gonna help the women in the area that I'm at, right? But in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right? And then you like
Right.
29 states,
Mm-hmm.
29 whole states.
Yeah, that happened just from the power of social media and people just sharing, like people just sharing our cause, people sharing the different things that we're doing. And when they saw like, hey, she could ship a box out, they was like, I need something because or the shelves are clear. When COVID hit, people went crazy that are privileged and cleared the shelves.
Yes.
Not thinking that don't have to bus to those store kids. And once they get there to those stores, the shelves are, that's when they read chapter and we provided that service that the stores were lacking. That's where we came in and helped. That's how we grew so quickly in 29 states and 85 communities.
Yes. But that is a blessing. Like I am like I literally, as I was like going through this, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm so excited about this interview and this, that, and the third. Like the hearing the story, understanding the impact, knowing what it is that you're doing. I'm like, okay, y'all, if anybody is whoever is listening to this, if at some point in time, I know we all have these moments where we have it to you want to give, you put on your heart, like this is an organization that you want to be able to stand behind, because Ray Nell is literally doing it for the people, like in real life. And as a single mom for about a year, I know the struggles of making that decision and deciding whether or not, all right, I'm gonna eat
Right.
oodles and noodles, or I gotta get this thing off, and feeling ashamed to be able to ask people for help when like you said, when other people, when I know, my circle is, other single mothers who are also struggling, or you just feeling like, I don't even want to bother nobody again, right? Like, let me just trying to figure it out, and being able to bless people, and it provides hope for them, right? In a time that when you're especially as a mom, like you are literally trying to raise another human being, and that in itself will bring on that doubt that you do not want to pass on to your kids, right? And so
Right.
um I am commending you. Y'all can't see me, but I am clapping it up, okay? Because what you are doing is, it's amazing. I'm telling you, I'm proud of you, sis. I am proud of you for pushing through despite all of the whatever could have came your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did not have to do this. You knew it was your purpose. You knew it was your passion. And even without um the full support of things, because people expect for stuff to happen immediately, you're doing the
Right.
work. You are doing the work. And I mark my words, the Alignment Chapter will be blessed, because y'all are doing the work. Y'all are seriously doing the work.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. So, how can people connect with you, whether it is to see what you all are doing, or if they want to donate? Let us know so I can put that information in the show notes, and y'all can start donating to Ray Nell today. Okay.
So people can connect with us through social media. It's the Alignment Chapter with two L's, not one L. So it's the Alignment Chapter. We have a link in our bio. You can click the link in our bio. You have the option to donate or request for emergency assistance. We really encourage people to donate because that's the way they afloat every single day. Another way you can connect with me is just by sending me a quick or inbox on social media. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram at Ray_Nell_Jones on Instagram. So you could definitely follow me there and follow the Alignment Chapter to see everything that we're offering. We just did our Black Her Story series where we
Oh,
are letting
nice.
single moms share their stories and their journeys and express how we have helped them.
Yeah.
That's one of our transparency perks. Definitely to sharing is caring podcast. Let people know about the Alignment Chapter. Let people know about Felicia. And I tell people all the time, sharing goes a long way.
Does.
Sharing, donating, supporting does not hurt anybody.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I appreciate that shout out, sis. I appreciate it. But no, you're right. It does, and that takes nothing. You know what I'm saying? Sharon doesn't take anything. You would share where you bought you these shoes from. Somebody asks you where you got that purse. You tell them, oh, I got this at
Right,
Target. Like we share everything. We share
right,
our meals every day. You share everything else. Why not share something that could literally change somebody's life and help them in a
right,
time that they actually need it? Because we are still in this pandemic, and we don't know how long it's going to be until we get out, right? And so I've said
right.
often, God is still in the blessing business, and this is a part of being able to be a blessing for somebody else. So thank you so much right now. I truly appreciate you. And again,
You're
like,
welcome.
you was killing it, sis. Keep doing it.
Thank you so much, Felicia. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.